Well, let's now discuss the ongoing situation in the Middle East, the Israel-Hamas conflict. And joining us for a perspective on this, we have Dr. Anshu Joshi, Professor of the School of International Studies, JNU. Thank you, Professor Joshi. Now, Israel is exercising its right to self-defense. It's also targeting a terrorist organization, as we know. But this conflict seems to be affecting Israel's relations with the wider world. How do you view it?
First and foremost, we should see that this current fight is between Israel and Hamas. And we should understand that Hamas is a terrorist organization and Hamas cannot represent the face of Palestine. Now, looking at the historic conflict between Israel and Palestine, so Mark, I don't see that this violent conflict between Israel and Hamas will stop in a day or two. And indeed, it is impacting relations of Israel with rest of the world, mostly with the Arab nations. But we must also understand that it is a fight against terror. And we should also not forget that this entire violent situation was started by Hamas on 7th of October when it attacked Israel during the wee hours. And that is what Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, is time and again stating. He's saying that it's a fight against a terrorist organization and we will collect the full price from the murderers. He is calling Hamas as a terrorist organization openly. But yes, indeed, Hamas has its own support, and the kind of support it has got from rest of the most of the Islamic world, I should say. The countries like Iran and now Turkey. We could see the statements from Erdogan this week, wherein he referred to this war and he took it to a different dimension, calling it like a crusade war. We all know the history of that war. So indeed, there are countries with which Israel's relations have deterred already. But at the same time, we should also not forget that there are nations like United States of America and there are many other countries that want to contribute to this fight against terror.
Indeed, Professor Joshi, also, how seriously should the world be taking the reports of a humanitarian crisis in Gaza? I mean, we are seeing images and all that, but, the health ministry or health authorities in Gaza are controlled by Hamas, and maybe the figures and the data could be inflated.
Historically, we know that how this Gaza Strip has a strategic importance, and right from the beginning, when Israel was formed, during the later developments, Gaza was taken over by Hamas later, and mostly Hamas controls this particular area. And we know what is happening presently. We can see many reports and videos and so on. And indeed, there is a humanitarian crisis for the population that is living in Gaza, because people are dependent on international aids to survive in this particular region. And it has one of the densest populations in the world. But at the same time, Mark, we should look at the stability, peace and security of the entire region. So isn't Israel paying the price? We should be looking at the people of Israel also. And at the same time, we should also look at the recent developments wherein leaders including Prime Minister of Britain and President of United States of America, Biden, they visited Tel Aviv and they tried to look at the situation and they tried to resolve the situation, especially this humanitarian crisis. But at the same time, we should also look at the present development wherein most of the countries of the world have denied their support in case of giving shelters to refugees from Palestine or for that matter from Gaza Strip. So that itself raises a question why. And when we look back at the history, especially of Europe, we can see that in recent past how providing shelters to these refugees actually came with, some repercussions, especially some political crisis for these countries. So there are a lot of complex dimensions involved that are political, social in nature, and they cannot be ignored.
Indeed. So you talk about those complex dimensions, and then how do experts like you actually sift through all of course, there's a propaganda war going on as well, sift through all the fake narratives to try and define what the real picture is at a time like this?
It is a testing time, I would say, and it's very unfortunate to see that on one hand, already one theater of war is going on in Ukraine, wherein this Russia-Ukraine war is not stopping at all. On the other hand, this conflict between Hamas and Israel is escalating every day. And I do see direct and indirect involvement of other countries also into it. And then there are countries that are adding fuel to this already violent conflict. I can also see a humanitarian crisis, but as I said, it is related to the people of the entire region and not only of a particular place. And at this time,
Yes.
the question mark on the role of the international institutions like United Nations, Mark. And there are other multilateral platforms also. What are they doing? So we need to find out a comprehensive and long-term solution of the problem. And only then this conflict may end.
We leave it there. Thank you very much, Professor Anshu Joshi, for your perspective on this developing situation.